Fustercluck show here in Hazlet, New Jersey at Bulletproof Music Studios, where you can do lessons here, you can do shows here, comedy shows, playing live. We have all kinds of live comedy, music, all kinds of live events here. There's a recording studio. You can record here. It's incredible. Every time you come here, you step in inspiration. I didn't even say that right, but step into inspiration. That's the way I'm supposed to say it. Anyway, Franco has a top 10 list.
There we go.
Here we go.
All righty. I first want to say that I'd like to thank John and the crew at Bulletproof for last week's belly dancing lessons that we had here. It was fantastic.
You're welcome.
I love it.
See, they have belly proof dancing.
There you go. All right, so this is my top 10 list.
Okay.
These are the top 10 celebrities my mother has dated.
Oh my God.
It's true.
Really?
Yes.
She's dancing.
Hendrix.
All right. You know what? You should. All right. He
I
said
can't play?
He had Jimmy. He knew that was on the top of the list. Yes, she dated Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, wow, that's incredible.
Yes. And as you can
I
tell.
think he's your father. You got the same thing.
Yeah, it's not
Any
happening. I
of
wish.
the Beatles?
No.
Because that would really impress me.
Close.
Sid Vicious.
No.
What kind of music does she like?
Think some hippie, far out. Hey,
John Sebastian.
No. Even name a band, and I'll tell you.
No.
Jethro Tull.
No.
Jefferson Starship.
No, like hippie band.
Airplane.
No.
Oh, Grateful Dead.
Grateful Dead. Yes.
Jerry Garcia.
Yes. She was supposed to go with
That's
them
where
to
the finger
California, and she just wasn't into it, so she stayed in New York.
Although maybe she fell asleep during a concert.
No. All right, keep going. Another band. I'll tell you one. There's a huge band from LA that didn't live in New York, but they were
Huey Lewis.
The Doors were right. She went
Jim Morrison?
She went out with Jim Morrison
Oh my
when she was
God.
living on 3rd Street next to the Hells Angels place. Okay, there we go.
I wonder if I ran into your mother.
All right.
You're beautiful, like Paul.
Yeah, I think so.
You know what they say? Once you go Huey Lewis, you don't go back.
Yeah. All right, so let's think of
Give us hints.
some other bands.
That's an incredible list already.
Yeah, okay. We can also do.
Hendrix and Morrison.
Yeah, well, let's also think art. New York art world. 60s.
Andy
Andy Warhol.
All right, Andy Warhol. Yeah, not Andy Warhol.
Lou Reed.
But one of Andy Warhol's buddies and Entourage.
The Dolls?
No, he's not. I'm saying it's not a musician. It's one of Andy Warhol's friends that he put in movies.
Capote?
Lewis Walden.
I don't know who that is.
Lewis Walden.
I don't know who that is.
I think he was a porno dude too.
Ah, there you go.
There you go.
See, your mother was on the Fringe.
Okay, another artist has nothing to do with Andy Warhol.
Okay.
Great artist. Think of my name. It's very close.
Franco Frassetti Sr.
Yes, but right before that.
Right before that, Frankie Frassetta.
Oh, Frank Frazetta.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you know the Conan dude, the guy
Yeah.
who created
Yeah,
Conan?
the Molly Hatchet.
Yeah.
Franco Spaghetti open.
All right, another New York, very famous New York kind of glam New York
Paul Simon.
No,
musician. Musician and from
David
New York.
Bowie.
No, I think something.
He lived in New York for a while.
Yeah, he did. Well, yes, you knew him actually. Velvet
Johnny
Underground.
Thunders.
Lou
Velvet
Reed. He said Lou Reed.
Sterling Morrison.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I was in the right band. There's the
All right.
wrong guy.
I can see Franco as a little kid. Are you my daddy?
All right.
Most confusing day in the village. Father's Day.
All right. What about there was a TV show, talk show filmed
Okay.
in New York at the time.
Johnny Carson?
Bernie Collins.
Yes,
Johnny Carson?
Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon.
Both?
Yeah.
This is incredible.
Ed McMahon.
Was it the same episode?
Somebody's gonna
Wait.
get hurt.
Ed's drinking days?
Yep. And then band called. Anybody know the Faces?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kenny Jones. I don't know who that is.
That was
Kenny
one of the
Jones.
guitar. That was one of the guitars.
All right. And let me see if this.
Ron Wood.
All right, think baseball now. New York Yankees.
New Yankees?
New York Yankees.
What year is around?
He was a Yankee in the 70s.
She was on the field from 69 to 84.
Okay, let's see here.
That's a
Yankees.
lot of
One of the
numbers.
Yankees. One of the Yankees from back then.
Well-known Yankee.
Billy
Phil Rizzuto.
No.
Billy
Billy
Martin.
Martin? No.
Bucky Dent.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's it.
All right. And now we have to round off the list. He's not a celebrity, but he is to me Uncle Gabe.
Ah!
There you go, man.
That's incredible.
Now
Floyd
tell, me,
Vivino.
now tell me that's not the best top 10 list.
That's
we've
a
ever
great,
had.
what a list for her. That's incredible.
Actually, we did better at that list than we did at some of the previous.
I know, exactly, yeah.
Who did my mother boink?
I said date. Watch your mouth.
Date means go out to eat dinner or something.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Although when Edwin Man and Johnny Carson at the same time during their drinking days, that's pretty interesting.
No, she said Johnny Carson was a perfect gentleman.
Yeah, he was.
Not so much for the other
He's from
guy.
Nebraska. Edwin Man was a drinker.
Yeah, yes.
Johnny Carson didn't. He drank for a certain short period of his career, and then they stopped.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's funny. Oh, we got what's in the bass.
Let's do
What's in the
it.
bass?
I have something.
You have something?
Let me get it. Then what's in the bass? Show the camera.
Again with weapons.
It's not a weapon.
Oh, I know what that is. An apparatus that Franco's mother apparently uses.
To pry away from the dates. Pry yourself away from the dates.
I broke the apparatus.
No, it doesn't.
Really?
Okay.
Let's wonder who sat.
guess?
Wait.
You
Let's understand who was driving a truck with my mother in it and who sat on her lap.
Oh. So
That's when I
so
found out.
So
My
she's
favorite guitar player was me and Jimi Hendrix.
she's a ventriloquist?
No, actually, she did go crazy for
This,
him and Rock to
that's
Adopt. Yeah. This guy.
Did I meet your mother?
No.
Okay, wasn't that Rock Adopt? You guess?
Is it a cane?
Nope.
Let me see this.
Wouldn't be made of metal.
All right, so you got an Allen key over there, something that. Is this just an extension for an Allen key to do some hardcore labor?
It's used for, this is used, mostly this is the part that's being used. This can be used for certain things. It's the same, for the same thing. It's used for a specific thing, both things.
All right, what is it?
This is, your pool covers,
Yeah.
in-ground pools.
Yeah.
This gets the things off, so the springs get off the thing, so you take the pool cover off the pools.
This springs the pool covers? Don't you just buy a tarp at Home Depot?
No, not a tarp. The things, they're safety covers. They have like springs.
Oh, those ones
They attach to nuts. This is for if you haven't put a new nut in, but this is, you go like this and it springs, comes off.
He catches the nuts, all right.
Oh,
I know a guy. I'm 2 for 2, guys.
there you go, man.
Can we go back to Franco's mother now?
Tell me more about her.
Oh, man. Anyway, we'll be right back with the show. Fustercluck.
Where's your mother?
That's an impressive list, man. Welcome back to Fustercluck. Steve, tell them what we got.
We have a special guest, last minute addition to today's episode, Mr. Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, Dennis Dunaway.
Yeah. Nice having you, Dennis. Thanks. Nice seeing you again, man.
Oh yeah, it's been a while, man.
Yeah.
It's like it's been a while.
It's been a while. We last saw you at the show for Cold Coffin and the movie premiere in New York City.
Yeah, St. Mark's Theater, yeah.
Mark's Theater,
Yeah, for the Live from the AstroTurf. What a movie too.
That was great.
Yeah, great show.
Theater 80 at St. Mark's Place. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
It
was great.
All special guest stars were in the audience, and us for some reason.
I have information about Theater 80, which is true.
What?
Nancy Sinatra was conceived there.
Oh.
Yes.
I guess he's boosted right on.
Can you confirm, Dennis?
I do know that it's got quite a famous mob history.
Awesome.
Obviously, Nancy's mother wasn't wearing her boots.
Yeah, and I hope you don't mind me saying, because we talked for a few moments before the episode, and we were seated next to May Pang at this party in New York City, and you're on your way to do your first gig with her right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
First
first
gig
gig in nearly 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
So the last time I was on stage was in Phoenix, Arizona, with the original Alice Cooper group, and Johnny Depp and Joe Bonamassa joined us on stage for that show.
Cool.
Heavy hitters, man. Heavy hitters, but so are you.
Man, that was seems like a million years ago now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm actually, I usually don't get nervous before a gig, but man, I've got to remember how to play.
Well, you got those sunglasses. If you make a mistake, nobody will know.
All right. Well, whenever you make a mistake as a bass player, you just look at the drummer.
Speaking of the drummer, Billy, can you give me that record there?
Yeah.
Neil Smith and Dennis Dunaway. I just got this reissue of School's Out.
Ooh.
And I don't even want to open it up. It opens up like the desk. I have the original without the panties. We got the original panties here.
Yeah.
And this is from Good Records. who also released Live from the AstroTurf.
Right.
And I'm like a kid when this package came. Oh my God, I was so excited.
But he was upset because he didn't get the panties.
Not the original, I got them now. My wife won't let me wear them though. But what I'm going to say is I listened to Schools Out 3 times last week. And that is really you and Neil's album. That's bass and drums. Hold that whole theater together. I love this record.
Thank you. I loved it too. I loved making that record, but the guys in the band all look at it as Glenn Buxton's record because it was just his attitude. It's so dominant in the theme of the album.
Well, I always say that Killer is my favorite album, but Love It to Death might have a few better songs, but as a full album, I like Killer's flow from beginning to end. And then, of course, you get to Schools Out, and then you rule the world with $1 Billion Babies, you know?
Yeah, well, Schools Out was, Love It to Death and Killer were both done at the same studio in Chicago, with Jack Richardson overseeing the production with Bob Ezrin.
Right.
And then New York City with Schools Out, it was Bob Ezrin on his own at that point. And it was a different studio, so it had a different sound and a different feel. But we had so much fun on that album. I mean, on one of the songs, you can hear a coyote in the distance. And that's me. That's me. I'm doing my
that's
best
Alma Mater, probably?
Yeah. On the cowboy kind of outro. And then there was one point where it was like 3 or 4 a.m., and we had run a microphone cord all the way out to the street, and we were yelling at cab drivers when they came by so we could record their response. And of course, we couldn't use any of that because it was.
But it makes for great history, you know?
Yeah, we figured we might as well get the whole New York experience on the album, you know?
Yeah. Paul, myself, and Billy went to that party.
St. Mark's, the theater, yeah.
And what a great day it was. You performed, with Calico was singing, and Chuck Garrick was there.
Yeah, it was a great night.
Yeah, it took a lot. I had to pull a lot of my strings to get that all coordinated because they were on tour.
Yeah.
They just happened to be, in
the area.
Philadelphia and on their way to the area. And I got them to put a giddy up on it and jump on the train early and come in. And, it was Chuck Garrick and Calico, also have Bisto Blanco, which is a great band.
Yeah.
Right.
But they jumped on the train and came in. And then we had, Nick Didkovsky on guitar, who's a New Yorker, and Russ Wilson on drums. And we had Keith Roth
He's awesome.
even sit in and sing one of the songs. But he also did a great job emceeing the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that was definitely last minute. He was flying by the seat of his pants.
We spent a little time with Keith Roth and Ryan Roxy at the bar.
Hanging out with
So
Ryan.
it was really a fun day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were serving absinthe left and right.
They were. I was tempted to try, but said I don't know what the hell's going to happen.
I may be wrong, but I think Cindy was partaking.
I blacked out after the absinthe.
She normally doesn't like absinthe, but somebody might have talked her into it. But there was a few cross-eyed friends there at that bar that night.
Yeah. But, I'm so glad you joined us today. We also have an interview with Ryan Roxy. We're going to be talking about Live from the AstroTurf. The performance
at the
in
music
Texas.
store.
Wow.
I couldn't get over it. Whoever did the mixing, the sound was incredible for a music store. That was incredible.
It was kind of a miracle in many ways. Number one, again, the timing was perfect because Alice had a gig in another city, but Chris Penn, the guy who helped coordinate all of this, who owns Good Records to Go in Dallas.
Right.
He's the guy that estimated that Alice knew where the best golf courses were, and that he would have his day off. He would fly to Dallas for the show the next night, right? And so anyway, the only way Alice would come down, you can't just bring Alice into a small place crowded with people and not cause a major, gridlock.
Right.
So Chris actually smashed a hole through the wall in the back room and made a secret passageway for Alice so he could go hang out backstage while Neil and Michael and I were doing a Q&A and signing books and stuff.
Right.
And then the whole place was redecorated with pink AstroTurf because the panties on the cover of my book, Snakes, Guillotines, Electric Chairs, My Adventures in the Alice Cooper Group, is pink. So he matched that with the pink AstroTurf and painted the whole store to match the theme and had balloons and everything going. We said, okay, well, do you want to hear some songs? And everybody, of course, yes. It was a record store with an upstairs, but it was jam-packed.
Yeah.
And Michael, Neil, and I did Caught in a Dream, the three of us. And then we started Be My Lover, and then out of nowhere, Alice walks out.
Right.
And Ryan Roxy walks out. And the look on people's faces was classic.
They were in shock.
How did you keep that kind of secret?
It was like that scene. Yeah, it's like that scene in The Producers where they're doing Springtime for Hitler.
Right, exactly.
Was that a hard secret to keep? I mean, because there's a lot of people that knew, obviously, but...
It was hard. I knew beforehand that I could tell Neil, but I couldn't tell Michael. And so when we picked up Michael at the airport, he's like, Dan, I haven't been singing a lot lately, and I'm not sure if I can... if my voice will hold out for all 7 songs. I said, don't worry about it. You'll just be singing 1 and then background. He goes, what? I said, Alice is going to be there. And he's like, what?
That's awesome, man.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah, but Dennis, man, I appreciate you taking a few
thank you
minutes
so much.
on your way to May Pang's party.
Sure.
She's such a nice lady.
Yeah, she is a great lady.
Wait, I have a question.
This is what I'm wearing on stage tonight. Can you see this?
Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
It's very festive. Very festive.
But I got dressed up before we did this because I might have to run to the train station.
Also, I got to say, the background
backdrop.
it looks like you're in Macy's window. I like that.
Well, Cindy and I had a store that sold all kinds of decor, and we have Halloween up the wazoo here.
Right.
It takes 2 days to put it all out.
That looks great. It looks great.
Yeah, that's Cindy's witch collection. There's a bunch of witches back there that are all
great.
handmade by various artists that we used to represent in our store.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, I want our viewers to know you've done a lot since the Alice Cooper Group.
Right.
You've got Blue Coupe. You've had the Dennis Dunaway Project. You've done different things with Joe Bouchard, and I don't know where the bands are at because of the pandemic, but I'm hoping to see Blue Coupe again.
Yeah, well, basically tonight at May's party, so many top shelf musicians show up at her parties that it's just this killer jam.
Right.
And tonight it will actually be Blue Coupe back together, and it's been over 2 years since we've been on stage together with Tish and Snooky, the darlings of the Demented, singing background with us. So they'll bring the pizzazz, and we'll run a few songs. You can't do too many songs there because Simon Kirk is going to play some songs and all kinds. I mean, it's really
That's
unbelievable.
Good company.
Well, yeah, but the problem with playing with an audience full of musicians is, they're all standing out there saying, oh, is it my turn yet?
Yeah. It's like standing in line at the open mic.
Oh, damn, they did that song. That's the song I was going to do.
Yeah, you guys have the same thing.
Yeah, you know it. Hey, Dennis, we got to
Thank
get
you
you
so
in
much.
studio with Brian sometime.
Yeah.
We're going to have him host with us. And whenever you want a place to play in New Jersey, man, we got the room.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe this room. This studio is incredible.
Ryan is great. We did, Ryan lives in Sweden, and Blue Coupe, one of our last gigs was the Sweden Rock Fest.
Oh.
And we, Blue Coupe started out the set. We played, about 5 songs as Blue Coupe, as a trio. And then Ryan Roxy came out, and we did, we blew out the rafters, but it was an amazing crowd. That festival is one of the best I've ever seen. Best run.
Well, Ryan's a true rock star. and he's a real nice
Oh, yeah,
guy.
absolutely.
You know, but Dennis, before we let you go, because I promised we try to keep it to 10 minutes, and we appreciate you.
Yeah.
Love your stuff.
Yeah.
Would you give us some sort of a promo?
Like-
You're watching these idiots on Fustercluck, whatever you want to say.
Don't say idiots.
Well, don't say that. That's not right.
Sure. Well, I've got an exclusive for you.
Okay.
Chris Penn finally got a deal for Live from the AstroTurf, and it will be released sometime next summer, probably in June.
Cool.
Oh, that's the movie, right? Because we were
Yeah.
wondering. Because I want to see it again.
Yeah, me too.
Definitely.
I want to own it.
Yeah, okay. And the other reason the sound was so good is because we got Bob Ezrin to mix it.
Yeah,
There
I
you
told
go.
Paul.
It was incredible.
But I started to say it was a miracle that it came out that good because Chris Penn had artists come in and do, live performances at his record store regularly.
Right.
But he said that's the first time they ever got a full set where every microphone worked and everything.
Yeah, it was incredible.
It wasn't really even supposed to be made into a movie. It was
Right.
It was just Chris Penn saying, on Monday morning, I'm going to be saying, did this really happen? So he called his film buddy, Steve Gaddis, to come down and document it for his own personal archives. And then afterward, and Steve brought a bunch of guys. So there's a bunch of cameramen and different angles and everything. And Steve said, I think we've got a film here. And so then they spent a few years trying to compensate for the fact that Chris Penn used all red lights, which is the worst for filming.
Oh, really?
But it came out great.
It did. It really did. It was incredible sounding.
The thing that I like about it the most is the whole film is from a fan's point of view.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Definitely.
I got a limited edition record. I don't know if you've seen that.
There it is. Yeah,
It's
hard
very
to
cool.
see.
I think it's sold out. But man, what a cool thing. And
Chris Penn goes, everybody says thank God for Chris Penn because when you order something from his record store, Good Records to Go in Dallas.
it comes in a giant Ziploc.
You get extra goodies. Yeah, you get the goodies.
Yeah.
The Ziploc, keep it fresh.
I got my 50-year patch. Glenn, Dennis, Michael, Neil.
All right.
Love it, man.
All right, you might not get it back.
I know. Give me my bro.
Yeah, if you could just say your name and say you're listening to Fustercluck show, we appreciate it really much.
This is Dennis Dunaway. You're listening to the Fustercluck Show.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Have fun tonight, man. Have
Dennis,
fun tonight.
Okay, guys.
please
Thank you
remember us
very
when you
much.
got something to say. Thank you.
Okay, definitely.
Thank
Love
you,
you,
man.
brothers. Love it to death.
We'll be right back after this.
You're joining the Fustercluck show, and we're on the air today with Ryan Roxy. Ryan.
Hello, guys. What's happening?
Hello, man.
You said-
So are you in Sweden?
I am in Sweden. It's actually warm and sunny out. This is that time of year that people don't really talk about. It's kind of the best kept secret. But if anybody ever wants to come and visit Scandinavia and Sweden in general, this is the time to come, man. The sun comes up at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and then it stays lit all the way till like midnight. You can play golf any hour of the day. I know that's not a very rock and roll thing to say, but I feel it's rock and roll because that's what I was doing today.
That's
Very cool.
awesome. The first time I went to Oslo, I'm from New York, and I was dressed for New York weather, and even in their winter, it wasn't as cold as in New York winter. And then I went out, I saw Metallica.
It's a dry cold.
It's a dry cold. And then I went to Metallica when they opened up the arena there in Copenhagen. And then I went over to Stockholm where I ate reindeer with elderberries, which was really, really good. I got to recommend that.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend eating Rudolph anytime. I've tried it, and it's what's that word? Gamey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a little too gamey for me, man. But yeah, there's a lot of people love to eat, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen.
So anyway, you've announced a tour with Ace Frehley, Alice Cooper, and Ace.
I haven't announced it. That's the man. That's the boss man who's announced it, and
You've agreed, right?
I'm happy just to ride the coattails and be on that sort of. Let's fingers crossed, and everybody get their vaccine jabbed and all that crap, and we're hopefully going to be on the road and some sort of semblance of a tour of a normal. It's not going to be normal. Nothing's normal, I don't think, until 2022.
Yeah.
If
Well,
it ever is. Again, we don't know.
It's been a year and a half since you've done any shows, right?
Yeah, we were the last of the Mohicans to like sort of, I think it was January, February. We did Australia and New Zealand, right when everybody started murmuring 2020, the beginning of 2020. And so we thought, yeah, well, we're just going to have a 2-week break and then go right to the States and Canada and have a full year of touring in 2020. That will be a great year. And it did not end up happening that way, as we all know.
Yeah, well, we're in New Jersey, is where we're talking to you from, in the USA. And we're in day like 500 of the 14-day shutdown. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, the thing was, Alice had never skipped a year touring since I joined his band in 96. I actually haven't done every single tour with him. Since 96, there's a couple of years I took off here and there. My son was born. I moved to Sweden. There was a period of time where I didn't tour with him. I was playing in Slash's band for a while. That was another sort of break. But from that 1-year tour that I was promised in 96, Alice Cooper has toured every single year, and he toured in 2020. So we got that little sliver of touring in just to sort of, I guess, pad the stats, if you will.
yeah, you got your year in. I've seen you on every tour with him. I think I first saw you with Jacob Dylan's band. Did you?
Wow.
Yeah, you played the Garden probably once with Jacob Dylan. Who was on that bill?
No. That couldn't have been me. I've only played the Garden. I have played the Garden. I'm very happy, and I do have bragging rights about that. Trust me. Whenever I go back to New York, I always say, yeah, I played there.
Okay.
Very happy and proud. But that was on the Motley Crue tour.
Oh,
yeah.
I
Jacob Dylan. Are you talking about One Headlight, Jacob Dylan?
yeah.
Damn, I wish I was in that band. I love Rami,
thought
the
you were,
keyboard player. No, I was in a band with Tal Bachman. That might have been the artist you're thinking of, and the track is "She's So High," and it's kind of on the same playlists. One Headlight and "She's So High" are always on the same Spotify playlist whenever we put it on. But I got to tell you, Jacob is the superior artist. To me, that song still, when it comes on today, any sort of Wallflowers or that Rami Hammond organ, God, it's just so good. So yeah, I just listened to it the other day.
Well, I'm wrong about the first time I saw you, but I know the last time I saw you was in New York City with Dennis Dunaway, and you had that premiere with the Good Records where the original band got together, and you got to play the part of Glenn Buxton.
What a movie! What a film! I was actually really happy and surprised, and really like I said, just really excited to be part of that whole movie. I'd never been a part of a movie documentary like that, and the way
sound in that movie is incredible.
The way the whole project came together, it was supposed to be just a one-off gig with some of the guys in the band at a record store in Texas. And I mean, thank God for Good Records, because they did such a great job of documenting that. We had no idea that it would eventually, I don't think they had any idea that it would eventually become a film, but then the way they all put it together, they really did put their heart and soul and a lot of talent into making that one sort of moment monumental. And I was happy just to be at the right place, the right time. I was just there. I knew the parts, and that sort of blossomed into me being able to sort of have the best seat in the house when the original band did a tour in the UK. And those were the original OG guys. They would come out the end of an Alice Cooper set and do like 5 or 6 of the big ones, their big ones. And I was able to play Glenn's parts and just hang out and just watch the magic happen on stage at places like Wembley and places like, I think it was the O2 that we played in London, but it was a cool UK tour as well.
Yeah. Like I said, the sound of that, the recordings of that show, just amazing. But
there's something to be said about just the original guys that played on that on those albums that we listen to still today. I mean, Alice has had 1,001 lineups of bands, and they've been some great lineups over the years. But when those guys get together, those original OGs, and there's something that happens. Something changes with Alice's voice. Something changes with the way it's not that they're playing individually. They all play as a collective, and it's really something to see because you get the vibe that, wow, this is something more than just an individual musician. This is a band.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, one of the coolest things that you've recorded with him, I like The Eyes of Alice Cooper because that was a band. You know what I mean? A lot of his recordings, it seems like there's outsiders or session guys, but I liked it that he used the people back on The Eyes of Alice Cooper, you and Chuck, and
that was truly a band effort, collaborative. Writing the songs, everybody pitching in, everybody bringing their strengths to that album. And it was a garage. We really recorded it. It was a studio, yes, but it was at Mates, which had been at one time, they had converted this garage into the studio. And I remember those days and those sessions. It was just really felt kind of like a throwback probably to Alice's early days. Because we did use Love It to Death as the blueprint for the Eyes of Alice Cooper record. And a lot of, one of the nicest things people and compliments people give us is that, hey, it sounded like one of those original records. So anytime you compare my playing or any of the songs that I've recorded or written on to the original band, I get happy because that's what the spirit of the songs were written in.
Oh, very good. I'm sorry, he's the musicologist here. Like, he's seen Alice Cooper like 65 times and lost count since then.
And you're the proctologist.
That's it, man.
Great. So now do I have to bend over or what?
Up to you.
All right, you told him, huh?
Yeah.
Actually, no, the first time I actually got to see you was in with the Motley Crue tour. It was in Barclays Center in Brooklyn. And that was disturbing, that show, because I didn't know who Nita Strauss was. And I'm watching, I'm like, oh, that's a good guitar player. Oh, kind of reminds me of somebody from the 80s. Kind of effeminate. And then I keep going, well, I know, I mean, like, wait, stop looking at that guitarist. There's something like, it was just weird, man. It was very...
Did you confuse Nita for
You were going through some changes at that show, I see.
Wait, I'm like, but
some questions?
Yes. Like, I should know something about myself. But no, but that show was like so fantastic because, like, if Motley Crue didn't go on stage for any reason, the Alice show was so awesome that it's like you got your money's worth. You were satisfied, very happy. And then we got to see you in Homedale, New Jersey and speak to you. And you gave me a card, you signed it and everything. And then we were so elated that we met you that we kept screaming, Ryan, like 50 times throughout the show.
Dude, sorry if I'm on stage right. I'm on stage right. If you guys, if I can get you guys, given some shout outs from stage left, I have done my job with the promo then, because I mean, stage left is all about Nita and Tommy. Chuck and I hold on to stage right.
So you want us to annoy Nita and Tommy?
I don't know. It doesn't annoy anybody. I mean, trust me, there's always a share of band fans from both sides of the stage on the opposite sides of the stage. It's just a matter of where you get your tickets. The thing I did appreciate about that Motley Crue and Alice Cooper tour, though, was being on stage right. That was Nikki's side. So that whole entire tour, we had a lot of Nikki Sixx fans that Chuck and I could rile up before the show. And I really feel that was like a lot of bang for your buck, that final Motley Crue tour.
You know, one of the things I respect about Motley Crue, I'm sorry to cut you off, was that they had you guys open or start the show, because that's a very difficult thing to follow, you know, very, very difficult.
Well, the guys in Motley were very, very cool to us the entire tour. It was one of those, I'd seen Motley Crue when I was a kid at Keystone Berkeley at a small club, maybe a 75, 85 people on like a Monday or Tuesday night on the first album. It was a club. And so I remember, and Nikki Sixx had hit his Thunderbird bass when he played a Gibson Thunderbird. He hit my girlfriend at the time right on the head, and she was so happy about it. So, you know, that was back in the days when you could like really abuse your audience and they would thank you for it. Now you get a lawsuit.
Yeah. That's awesome. But
I was emotionally distressed.
Oh, go on.
Well, no. I've never
Franco
been.
and I are going to fly out to Texas probably and catch you in El Paso. But we're starting your shows in Atlantic City. We've already got our tickets for Atlantic City, and then we're working on getting to Texas to see you mid-tour.
Well, looking forward to seeing you guys too. I'm looking so much forward to seeing everybody. So many faces that I'm used to seeing every single year since I've rejoined the band in 2012. You know, there was this break between 2006 and 2012 where I didn't tour with Alice. I was here in Sweden. I was doing a lot of work with Gibson guitars. I was touring around Europe, and I'm basically watching my kids grow up.
I was going to say that was a family reason, right?
And when I got, the family, but then the family split. So yeah, you never know. Maybe be careful what you do sometimes.
Yeah.
The thing is, we did. I got the call in 2012 to come back and do again, kind of like, hey, do you want to come back? And the first few gigs that you have, we're going to be touring with Iron Maiden. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is another bucket list band that I've always wanted to tour with. And that's why I'm always very thankful to Alice for allowing me to see the world playing music and seeing it with a business class ticket.
Yeah. Well, you know, I've seen every tour since Flush the Fashion. He canceled the.
Wow, you're deep, man. You're deep.
Yeah, I had tickets for the previous one from the inside, but the tour never made it to Philadelphia. So
that's when things started to go dark in that world. Yeah, Flush for Fashion, man. You must have been seeing some darkness.
You know, Billy Squier opened that show in New York City. It was pretty cool. And,
another great artist. I love Billy Squier. Yeah. I gotta get Billy Squier on my podcast. I do a podcast just like you guys. I do a show called In the Trenches with Ryan Roxy, and maybe we should team up. We'll trade guests, if you will.
Yeah.
I have a question. I was watching your videos. Why do you like black and white? I noticed like a bunch of your videos on black and white. Is that your choice, or is that someone that does it for you?
Huh. Wow. Why do I like black and white? I don't know. It probably goes back to those 80s videos where they would always switch between color and black and white. I think I have VH1 damage. You know, it's just a sign of my generation. And whenever I see interviews and stuff on YouTube today that's not quick cut but has that different types of film grades in it, I'm like, aha, they're from the 80s. I know that. You can't fool me.
You know what I love? I love that song that you do this year and the video. Just very, very cool, man. I go through phases where I play that like 5 times.
Thank you. If you go onto YouTube, you can watch that and you can actually witness the one and only time in my life where I sported a mustache. And that mustache was sort of a revolt. It was right when I was getting divorced from my first wife that we were together, and then we were splitting up, and we had just kind of finalized divorce. And what's the one thing that she never ever wanted me to have was a mustache, and so the first thing I did was grow that and put it in the video. I'm not sure it was the right call, but it is if you want to go see it. And trust me, it was a lot more filled in with dark facial hair than what it is currently, which is the salt and pepper and a lot of more salt these days.
Oh, man. Where can our viewers get a hold of you? And do you have a website?
The best thing to do is just go to All Things Roxy, which is ryanroxy.com, or click on whatever your social media platform that you enjoy. I'm probably on it with at Ryan Roxy, whether it's Instagram at Ryan Roxy, or you go on to YouTube, which is Ryan Roxy Official. I would really appreciate anybody that comes by and checks out our world. There's a lot of stuff to check out. There's interviews, there's the podcast, there's actually guitar lessons that I have put together with a thing called the System 12 guitar method, a very simple way to learn how to play guitar in a relatively short amount of time. I call it System 12 because I think you can learn guitar if you apply yourself, you can learn how to play guitar in about 12 weeks. And if it takes you twice as long, that's still less time than it's taken me to learn how to play golf.
Yeah.
You go. I have two questions real quick. One, you can opt out of, because we always discuss this. If you were to be offered at any time in your lifetime a job as guitarist for Kiss, would you take it? But you had to wear the Ace Frehley makeup. And if you don't want to comment on it, you don't have to.
So it's not a question of having to wear the Ace Frehley makeup. It's a question of getting to wear the Ace Frehley makeup. Are you kidding me? It's an honor. He's one of my guitar heroes. And why did you think not? Do you think I wouldn't do it? Come on. I mean, I play a chair. I mean, I have. Hold on. I mean, it's a cherry Les. It's a cherry Les Paul. Why? Because it's Kiss Alive. That album cover. Those album covers back in the day made me. The posters that they made, I hung them all up in my room, and I wanted to be those posters on my wall. So, yeah, I mean, and the fact.
Tommy Thayer, though, would you have pulled up a Silverburst?
No, Tommy Thayer. My goal in life is just to beat Tommy Thayer once in a game of golf, because I know that he's really good at golf, and Alice has been teaching me for 20 years. So at one point, I've got to, I've got to get over that hurdle of having at least one good round where I beat Tommy.
I wasn't going to say nothing, but when I talked about that, the Alice Cooper, the movie, Dennis Dunaway over in New York City, there was one empty seat in the audience.
Sorry.
He went to see Kiss.
My brother was the first time he left his house in 7 years because he's paralyzed, and he wanted to see Kiss. We went to, stores like that don't even exist anymore to buy Kiss albums as kids. So to take my brother.
Yeah, I mean, you made the choice, and it was for the right reasons, and that's great. But just to let you know, you did miss Calico Cooper's interpretive dance.
I think she had to hold her shirt up. You remember that?
There might have been some sort of wardrobe malfunction, but yeah, there was definitely interpretive dance going on that you missed. And although you probably saw a lot more interpretive dancing by Paul Stanley.
It was 99% celebrity audience and me.
I know. One more question. So I watch Richie Faulkner religiously on Instagram Live every week.
He's great.
So I know his background. So I did type in a question. Is it true he was the sausage king of Sweden, like Stockholm, before he became a rock star? And he says he was the sausage king, and he still is. Is that
really?
Yeah. Is that the word on the street in Stockholm?
So he sells like the way they do in New York. He sells sausages on the street corners and sort of that New York water and stuff like that, I guess. So
yeah.
You know what? He's a very good looking guy, and I could see him being some sort of, salami, sausage, chorizo. You take your tubed meat of choice, and I could see him being very successful. But yeah, I don't think of him as the sausage king. I think of him as being the guy that was able to breathe new life into an amazing band. It's nothing against KK at all, because I think KK is great as well. But I think when he came into the band, the energy went up and everybody rose to that level. And I think Rob Halford, got a new lease on his performance, and I he single-handedly helped the band create, and the fans create many more years of enjoyable rock music for all of us to listen to.
I've met with Judas Priest over the last few years several times, and they're like the Alice Cooper group, you guys, and Judas Priest are probably the nicest bands in the business. They really are.
Yeah, I had Rob Halford on the podcast as well a few weeks ago. If you guys want to check that out, you'll see just what a sincere, cool dude he is. And I think anybody that's like been around long enough and just hung in there and sort of still say they're touring at a certain level, you are definitely appreciative of not just your fans, but music in general, that it's been able to open as many doors as it's been able to open and keep open for us. And I think, being a dick is not going to serve you well, especially when it gets later and later into the game. At least that's my experience with the guys that I've met, the living legends. You'll find that the coolest egos, the coolest personality, the coolest attitudes all come from these goats, if you will, all these, OGs that have done it and really appreciate where they're at. So like I said, I'm just happy to be able to, for as many years as I have, ride the coattails and now be able to establish a little bit of my own thing, whether it's the podcast or whether it's the lessons that I'm teaching and the people that follow that, or just whether it's people that come to see me and come to see Chuck and I on stage right. And even if you have your ticket on stage left, you can still yell our name. It's always, always welcome and appreciated.
Well, you'll find us in Atlantic City by the bar, and I'll be in my Wonka Roxy shirt. So,
dude, if you have a Wonka Roxy shirt, you officially you officially qualify as either a stalker or someone that doesn't like to shop too much, because that shirt was been around for over 25 years ago or something.
Yeah, I got a Wonka. But that's awesome.
Thank you very much. It's a cool design. The Roxy 77 logo on a chocolate brown shirt. You just can't find merch these days like that. I actually really don't think they make merch like that anymore.
Yeah. Is there anything that you'd like to add? I mean, I could talk to you all afternoon, but that wouldn't be fair to you.
No, you guys are doing a great job. You're hanging out, and it looks as though you're in maybe somebody's daughter's room. And then she's got some clothes in the closet right there. There's some blinds there. Yeah, you guys haven't really been looking at me. You've been staring. I can only assume it's been a sort of a TV screen, but it's a little bit off center. So unless you're watching some sort of Netflix show, I'm not sure.
Oh, we got our interest.
We do have a studio, but it'd be shocking that this is not our main gig. So
yeah,
why don't you just tell people that that's your green screen? You guys have a
Ryan, honestly, we work out of a studio called Bulletproof Music Studio. It's unbelievable. But we're going to cut this out because we don't talk about our lives on the show. But we both cut out of work early to do this. So I
appreciate you guys doing that. And you know what? I held off having my, it's 5:00 somewhere cocktail to a whole hour. I procrastinated it because for me, my time zone, we're a little bit off, but we were able to coincide and meet up, and hopefully we can do the same with my podcast and your podcast. Is you guys call it a podcast, or is it entertainment?
It's actually a show.
It's a show. You know what I like to say, because we're 4 episodes in, we haven't showed any yet. It's a combination of Ed Sullivan, Ed Trunk, and Ed Nettie. So
wow.
Yeah, it's a comedy show. It's
is there any Eddie Izzard in there for Franco to get excited about? I don't know. He could just stare at it.
Yeah.
You know?
Wait, why are we staring over there? Because you're going to cut it?
Our camera's over there.
Yeah, we're going to
It's
cut it. It's going to look normal.
Or is it a mirror that you guys just want to keep on looking how you see how you look? Is that what it is? It's a narcissism thing.
Yeah.
All right, no
Hey,
problem.
listen, right now, would you mind starting fresh just with, would you do us a bumper like,
Sure.
get ready for the Fustercluck show, or you're about to see the Fustercluck show, and we're gonna put you before an episode and use that in maybe a trailer.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Hello, folks. Ryan Roxy here from the Alice Cooper Band. Are you ready to get Fusterclucked? Did I say that right?
That's awesome.
I think that's it. A one taker, and it's just
Yeah, that's a one taker. I mean, I did actually, because it was sincere. I didn't really. I thought I got it right the first time. Fusterclucked, and then I was just like, this is a clusterfuck.
But anyway, I guess we're just going to say goodbye, but we're going to see you. And I usually run into you somewhere outside.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, like I said, this tour, that I don't know what's going to happen as far as the protocols are. Are we going to be touring in a bubble? Is it going to be completely
Things
back
are
to normal? Is there going to be some sort of transitional period? My hope is that things can be as normal under the circumstances as possible, but the safety of the band and crew going from town to town every single night. Yeah, we don't want to get that stigma of being some sort of, petri dish
Sure.
thing.
I bet you 50 cents we're going to bump elbows. So.
And I'll be, and you know what? Chuck Garrick was really early on the elbow bump. He used to do that all the time because he is a little bit of a germaphobe, and I've become obviously much more of a germaphobe than I was before. So yeah, and Alice always wears the gloves. So we were actually ahead of the game a little bit because he wears those little gloves, the ones that you can't acquit if they don't fit. And he always has those on for the meet and greets. So he was early on the idea. So maybe I'll just wear disposable
Don't forget
gloves.
about his wife, Brian. Don't touch me.
He was super early. Maybe he's our Nostradamus. Maybe he's our prophet.
That's awesome.
Don't tell him that.
No. But one last closer, man. Every band that I've seen with Alice is the tops, and you, Nita, and Tommy are amazing. Triple guitar threat with Chuck holding it down, and probably the world's greatest drummer. I mean, I love it.
Well, Alice introduces him as that every single night. So how does it not become true after time after time after time? But I got to be honest with you, I'm very, very happy that I get to see these guys and play with these guys and girls, because Cheryl Cooper's in the show as well, and a lot of people don't know that Alice's wife, Cheryl Cooper, she does all the characters, and she's back there helping with background vocals as well. So to play with these guys and gals again and getting together with them, I'm looking so very forward to, of course, to play for anybody and everybody that's an Alice Cooper fan. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And if you're interested, I'm going to cut this. This is not going to be broadcast.
I mean, if something does if we do hit a wall and we're stumped for it, but to be honest with you, that's one of the best perks about being in the band is that, golf is not optional, it's compulsory. So yeah.
And when we see you, we'll have our full body condoms on. It'll be fine.
Great. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to all that stuff.
Ryan, we appreciate you. Thank you for joining us on the Fustercluck Show.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be Fusterclucked.
Those are great interviews, man. Great interviews.
Tell you, man, Ryan Roxy he's a rock star. And Dennis Dunaway, I mean, he's the top of the rock royalty of the 70s. You had the Stones, Zeppelin, and Alice Cooper. That was the biggest things of 1973.
Yeah.
I thought Dennis had beautiful eyes.
Did you? He's going to be very happy to see that. And he's going to get a restraining order on Fuster.
I did like those glasses.
They were groovy, very groovy.
A lot of people know he had prescription glasses underneath attached.
Yeah, we didn't catch that, right? He did that before.
He did, yeah.
But I tell you what, man, we were talking about Live from the Astroturf,
Oh, it was
which
great.
we went to New York. Paul and I and Billy.
Right.
I was
And,
excluded.
You were in Newark for some reason. They recorded live from the AstroTurf that day, and
Which
the
was
movie,
done in a music store.
yeah, in Texas,
Yeah,
Good
Dallas.
Records.
Incredible sound.
The thing is, we just found out from Dennis that the movie, the documentary of that day, will be coming out.
By the summer.
Yeah, so we were privy to the document, the movie.
Yeah.
The sound was amazing. The
Really good.
all-star audience.
And we watched it in the St. Mark's Theater, which is a great theater. It was nice and intimate. It was great.
And we actually had sort of an adventure that day.
A hell of an adventure. We were walking the streets because I was looking for a hot dog stand.
As soon as we crossed into New York City, Paul went on hot dog alert. Steve, if you see a hot dog wagon, stop. I want to go.
I have to have a
I need
separate
a
hot
dirty
dog when I go to New York. No matter if I'm going for eating, I have to have a
I
separate
need a
hot
dirty
dog.
water dog.
And there was none in that area. Every corner of New York except for the area we're in.
That was terrible.
I know.
I thought it was funny.
So we went to
So we're
the-
walking. Tell them what we're doing.
Yeah, we're walking around. We hit a little pizza joint. Steve and I just grabbed a slice. Paul's like, I don't want a slice. I want a dirty water dog. And they had beers there too. So Steve and I are having a beer, and all of a sudden some bum comes up and starts harassing Steve. And
That's not nice to call him a bum.
Well, he called himself
He's
that.
called himself a bum.
He said, "Don't you know this is buy a bum a beer day?"
Steve's like, yeah, here you go.
Well, what I did was I
happy.
I am a dear.
I think a beer is like $6 or $8 at this point. I don't even know.
But he
So
was really funny. He was.
he was funny and personable. So I took a sip.
Did he smell?
And I gave him a little bit because I really can't afford to buy everybody a beer, even if they're a bum. So, so he was very gracious
Very
and
funny.
happy.
Yeah, he was your best friend. He followed you around. For a
Was he?
while.
I didn't notice
He was
anymore.
following us around. He was like our kid brother.
And some of the building we walked by, we didn't even know it. At
Yeah,
first.
well, then of course we go back and the
still
show,
walking around
show was
with-
delayed, and we stopped at another place and grabbed a bite to eat. Paul still didn't want to eat because he's looking for a dirty water dog. So we leave there. I'm now at this point. I was already in the St. Mark's Theater, the little bar there. I'm trying to remember what it was called, but it was like some party like it's like $13.99 or something goofy like that. And I was banging out a mead that was tasted like an oatmeal raisin cookie, and boy, did they really taste good. And I was putting the mead down. Then we start walking down the street. So I'm staggering down the street, and these two guys are running ahead of me, basically. And there's a building there, and there's a little shop in the basement that says Physical Graffiti, but it's T-E-A. It's a little tea shop. So I go, yo, check this out, Physical Graffiti. And Paul, all of a sudden, he looks, he goes, hold on a minute. He walks across the street, stops traffic.
That's the
and everything.
building.
He goes, come over here. This is the building. And we go over, look, we're like,
That's the building.
That's the Led Zeppelin album.
That's the cover right there. And the Rolling
Great.
Stones. You said the Rolling
The
Stones.
Rolling
Yeah.
Stones did the video waiting on a friend there.
Sitting on the steps. Yeah.
But it's pretty cool because it's surreal. I just turned around and looked up and I knew immediately
Yeah,
with the architecture.
Well, after
Yeah.
buying the bum beer, that's when I seen. I'm a country boy. I very seldom go into the city at all. Anytime I go anywhere, it's usually Steve dragging me out of the Pine Barrens in New Jersey. We're going on an adventure, and we're there, and we're having our beer before it became Buy a Bum a Beer Day, and it starts raining, and I really don't know if I'm saying this correctly, but there was a person of Asian descent, and from what I could tell, it was a male because there was facial hair, wearing a purple dress and high heels, running down St. Mark's Avenue, and I'm like, you don't see this where I'm from usually, so it was a pretty
I
interesting.
didn't see it where you were from either.
Yeah,
I don't even see it. I don't even see it in Tom's River.
Yeah, it's like,
All I do know is he did vanish for 10 or 15 minutes.
I had to make an offer while I was there. Got to have an experience.
And that wasn't the kind of dog I wanted to have.
You can keep that one. But I tell you, even we were talking about
What a
the
fun
bar.
night,
Don't drink mead, kids.
When we got to the bar at the,
Hanging out with.
what was it? What's the name of the joint?
I can't remember.
It was St. Mark's Theater.
It was
the
at
St. Mark's Theater.
The bar that was there, though.
When we got to the St. Mark's Theater, it was basically, there was a guy in the front of the place trying to charge me to get in, like a VIP fee. And
To the bar.
It was just a guy. It was
So
a
we-
different bum that was trying to buy his own beer.
Yeah, because when we walked into the theater, we went to the bar. The bar's
Yeah, it was
connected to
so
the theater.
weird.
We didn't have to go in the theater with the bar entrance.
Yeah, he was working for it at least.
But it was pretty cool because, like we talked about during the interviews, we had Beast Up Blanco there. We had, we're sitting at the bar with Keith Roth and
Yeah.
Ryan Roxy, and
That was a fun night. It really
And we were
was.
sitting next to May Pang.
well, May Pang was assigned to our row.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. It was a great experience.
Actually, May
Great
Pang,
night,
when she saw us walking in, she got in the row ahead of us. She's like, I'm gonna sit with these guys.
No, she remembered Paul.
Yeah, I know Babe Pang from a long time.
Thank God, because we would have been arrested.
Anyway, it was a great night.
It was a lot of fun.
Great night, great movie, and great album.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
again. I would
show
say
was
get
great.
this album, except I think it's a limited edition, and these are long.
Well, he
gone,
said it's
man.
coming. The movie's coming out. So
The movie's going to come out.
It's
so-
worth
Yeah,
watching.
it's excellent.
Worth
This
watching.
is great. This is better than like anything Kiss ever did, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's like all these inserts,
Just rub it
and
into
patches.
He just lost the whole army.
Oh yeah, that's all right. Franco went to see Kiss that night.
That's right.
Even though they
it was a
were-
great show, right?
It was more like half a kiss.
Yeah, Steve has a problem with Tommy Thayer. I don't know why.
I don't have a problem with it.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. And even this is good because when we interviewed Ryan Roxy, like he said, would you wear the Kiss like the Ace makeup? Absolutely, he would. So there you go, buddy.
So another problem averted, folks.
There you go. All right.
Thank you very much.
Here in the Fustercluck
All right.
Show. So thank you for watching. See you next show, Fustercluck Show,
Bulletproof
Music Studio in Hazlet, New Jersey.